Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how to do a couple double lifts, a few, and I'm also going to be giving you some tips on how to make your double lifts better. So I'm just going to show you what a double lift is. I mean, the name kind of says it, but you don't know anything, okay? So I'm just going to take the top card, 4 diamonds, alright, you see it, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the deck, near the bottom. And I'm going to push it in. And do you see it move? No? Well, just from doing that, it comes back to the top. And I know you're probably thinking there's multiple 4 of diamonds in there, but if you look carefully, that's the 4 of hearts. There are no other 4 of diamonds. So here's how you do it. Double lift, probably could tell it's double lift, double, 2, lift. So you're taking off 2 cards as 1. So you make it seem like it's 1. There's a couple ways to do it, or many actually. I'm going to show you the one I like with 2 variations, and then I'm going to show you a really easy beginner one. It's less convincing, but it's a lot easier. I'm not going to go as in depth to it, and I'm going to show you it first. So what you're doing is you take off the top card and you hold it in this hand. And at the same time when you're talking, this is like in a routine, you push back the second card, which is now the top card, not that much, just a fraction of an inch, so you'd push it back maybe like that. So once it's like that, you put this back on square with the top, so you have this sticking out of the bottom. This is a little bit exaggerated, but it's easier for the tutorial. And then what you do is you take your thumb and and at the same time you put your middle finger here on top of the deck, or on the other side, and your ring finger here, and just in the middle for support, and so it doesn't flash. And then you push this, with your thumb you peel up, push in, and then you take it off and show the card. It really happens really fast. So if I'm doing an ambitious card routine, I'd say, so wouldn't it be great if your card came to the top, right? See, there it is. It's not very good in my opinion, that double lift, for a couple reasons. 1, you can flash pretty easily. 2, it's not very convincing. I don't think very many people would hold 1 card like this. And so that's one way. It's really easy if you're a beginner. I don't really recommend it, but if you're just starting out, it is fine. Just be careful with it. So the way I like to do is you flip the cards over from the side. I'm going to show you that, like, actually, but it's just more convincing. I think a lot of people would flip the cards over from the side, more like that. I mean, you can even ask your friends and relatives and family and everything just to show you how they'd turn over a card and make your own based off of that. But this one's pretty good for me. I think it's convincing. So there are a couple ways of doing this. One is you can just riffle down from the back. So you just riffle down as you're talking or doing whatever, and then you'd get a break under 2 cards, like that. And then you have your break, and you'd put it like over the flush of your ring finger, whatever. You can't see anything from the top, and then you'd go from the side, peel it off. You'd go faster because slower it's gonna flash like that. So I'm just gonna riffle down and get it. Riffle down, get my break, grab from the side, and there's a gap, and just watch your angles. You wouldn't want to go like turn it around or anything. So you grab it from the side, and then you flip it over, and first of all, don't drop it down like this. Riffle down, square the cards first, it's a lot easier. Riffle down, turn, well, you want to get it over, but when you go riffle down, turn, see it flashes a little bit. So here's what I do. There's a couple ways. 1, when you get your riffle down, turn, you can either push it back a little bit, so there's a gap when it's easier to flip over as 2, because you're going to flip them back over, and you don't want to have it like this, and then you don't want to show the next card. So you can either do it like that, or Another way of doing that, which this is my preferred method, is when you grab it from the side, flip it over, and then you just put it down on your thumb a little so there's a gap like that. It's not obvious. No one's really going to think anything of it. So then when you flip it back over, you can just easily feel the two cards. So like I said, you grab it and then you just flip it over and you leave it on your thumb, and then you can flip it back over. So another way of doing it, it's very, very similar, really. This is just so you can pick what works for you best. This is how I do mine. I just grab two from the side, and then I flip it over, and I do the same thing as I did for the first one. But it's a little bit different just the beginning of it. What you want to do is get the cards beveled. I'm going to do a very exaggerated bevel. Don't do it like that. You can actually start by practicing like that. So you can very easily feel two cards. Like I know this is two cards. So you get a bevel, you feel two cards, that was like 10. You feel two cards, and then you flip it over. But don't do that big of a bevel. What I like to do is use these fingers, pull in, and then the thumb pushes out, like pushes in and out, so that just the top cards get more separated. And then this is two right here, so like again, thumb pushes out, these push in, feel two, and you flip it over. But in fast motion, it's more like this. So shuffle the cards. You can give them a dribble for good measure, whatever. And then you would do, or the spectator can shuffle, so you get the cards back, you peel off the top card, alright, there's the top card. It's a double lift. And then push it in, back to the top. So that's how you do it, and if you want to see some tips that I find really helpful, just stick around for like half a second and I'll be back with the tips. My hands are awesome. They just move. Here's some tips on how to do a double lift better. So what you wouldn't want to do is say, so you have your double lift. You have your double lift right here, and you wouldn't want to say, alright, here's the card, it's one card, alright? You see, it's only one card. Then you'll get them thinking, is it really? Like, why would you be saying it's one card unless it isn't? Because when you're doing it when you're normally turning over a card, when you're just going to say, alright, so here's the card, you see it? You're not going to say, you see it, it's the one card. You wouldn't do that. So you don't want to act like it's not the one card, because then they'll be thinking, oh, maybe it isn't one card. So you don't want to do that. Also, if you're a really bad liar, that wouldn't be so good either, because then they could tell. So that's a tip A. Don't say, oh yeah, it's one card. You just say, alright, here's the top card, and you flip it over. Tip B is don't stare at your hands while doing it. You want to practice it so you can just have it like you're talking, you're doing the trick, and you flip over the two cards. Because if you're staring at your hands, then it's going to really be obvious, because spectators look where you look. So if you're like staring at your hands, concentrating so hard on getting it right, the spectator's going to notice, and they're probably going to be wondering why or see why. And also, you might flash a tiny bit, but really don't worry, because a lot of times they won't notice. They could think they mess up. Unless you flash like that, then it's fine. If it's a teeny flash, just go on with it. People probably won't notice. The next tip is if someone thinks you did take two cards, like when I do this trick, I did it to some friends at school. You take the card, then you put it in. A couple of times people did think I took two cards, but that was only when I tricked them multiple times. The one time it happened was when I did it to that friend, and they're like, what? How do you do that? And I'm like, sorry, do it again. I'm like, sorry, I don't do a trick twice. But I did it to someone else, and they saw, and they thought I picked up two cards. I mean, I did, but here's what I told them. Because the way I did it was, I was like, yeah, all right, see the three of spades. And then I flipped it back over, and I put it in, and then snapped, or whatever, and it's back to the top. So they thought I took two cards, but I'm like, no, that was only one card, because look, if I just take the card and flip it over, like, that's one card. How would I do the two cards, and then I just do, like, or you think I went like that and make it obvious to make it flash. But I was like, no, if I do it with 2 cards, if I had it with 2 cards, I'd have to hold it like this. Like, I can't hold, how would I have 2 cards like that? You know? So yeah, you can make an excuse. Don't be scared to tell a lie. And you can, even if you don't want to lie, you can actually like twist your words so you're not lying. Say, how would it be 2 cards? Like, if I took 2 cards, it would look something like this, but if I flipped over 2 cards that way, it would look like that. I never said it's not 2 cards. You can do something like that. You really want to practice this move, and you can use this in so many tricks. And once you get good at this move, it'll make your magic a lot easier, because it's just going to be so much easier because there's so many tricks that involve, so it's going to take your magic really to the next level off of one not very complicated move. So you just really want to practice this. Practice in front of a mirror, practice in front of your dog, practice in front of your friends, but don't practice or family is better than friends. Don't practice in front of your friends until you have it pretty good, because otherwise they might know how it's done, and then when you do a trick to them that involves it, they'll figure it out. So just, this is really a move. Practice makes perfect, and just, you can think of so many ways to use this. It's a great move. So thank you for watching. Please like the video if you liked it, so I know you liked it. Comment if you have any thoughts, feedback, ideas, questions. And please subscribe. It's really awesome if you could. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.